I used to work the night shift in an old hospital. The building had a strange kind of silence, as if the walls themselves had stopped breathing. Most of the wards were closed, only a few patients, some dimly lit corridors, and old bulbs that kept flickering. The smell of antiseptic hung everywhere, and I often told myself, everything here is normal. But that night, something was different. It was as if a heavy feeling hung in the air. Looking back now, maybe it was a warning, because that night turned out to be the longest night of my life. Around 2 in the morning, I noticed that all the usual hospital sounds had vanished. No monitor beeps, no footsteps from the nurses. Just silence, so deep that I could hear my own heartbeat. I looked down the hall. The bulbs were still on, but the atmosphere felt frozen. For a moment, I thought maybe the power or system had failed, but everything was running fine. Then the question hit me, why was the silence so complete? I picked up my torch and headed toward ward number 7, the one that was always dimly lit. The door was half open. As I stepped inside, the light from my torch hit the wall, and for a brief second, it looked like something had moved behind the curtain. I froze. My heart started pounding. I pulled the curtain aside, but there was nothing there, just empty beds and a cold draft of air. The bulb flickered again, and the shadow on the wall was still there, but this time, it was coming from behind me. I turned around quickly, but the shadow was gone. At that exact moment, a loud beeping sound echoed through the corridor. I ran out toward the far end, where an old monitor was blaring an alarm. I saw that the bed was empty. There was no patient. Suddenly, the lines on the monitor went flat, and a name appeared on the screen. Riaz Ahmed, deceased, 2015. My breath caught in my throat. That name was in the hospital's old records, the ones that had been sealed years ago. I tried to convince myself it was just a technical glitch, but my heart refused to believe it. Then I heard a creaking sound coming from the direction of the basement door. That door was always locked. It led to the morgue. Hesitantly, I turned on my torch and began descending the stairs. As I reached the bottom, I felt a faint movement in the air, as if someone was walking nearby. The cold was getting sharper. I called out a name, no response. But I could clearly hear someone breathing. I ran back upstairs to my office, heart pounding. I immediately opened the CCTV feed to see who was down there. On the screen, I saw myself holding the torch, but as soon as I stopped, another shadow moved behind me. It was taller, hazy, almost human. I blinked, and the frame changed. Now I was alone, but on my desk lay an old patient file. The same name, Riaz Ahmed. When the sun rose, I walked straight out of the hospital. I resigned that morning and never went back. When I got home, I took off my uniform, but felt something heavy in my pocket. I pulled it out. It was the same file, Riaz Ahmed's. I shut the door in fear, but then I realized the file was still warm.